Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages. We knew things weren't going very well over there at Ubisoft based on the financial reports and how the company is essentially bleeding money left and right, and they needed 2 wins underneath their belt in order to actually turn things around. Well, we know Star Wars Outlaws did not turn out that way. There was a lot of complaints early on with the game, not just because of the protagonist and everything else, but obviously we know within the first week the game was extremely glitchy, and a lot of people that had paid for the early access to the game ended up having a game-breaking patch put out right away, ended up turning into a disastrous dumpster fire and has not turned out very well whatsoever. Well, we kind of knew something similar was going on with Assassin's Creed Shadows because there were rumors a lot about delays, and of course we saw something very similar to a lot of the previews that they gave, just like what we saw with Star Wars Outlaws, where the game looked broken, it looked buggy, it looked very unpolished, it looked like it wasn't finished. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after some new reports coming out yesterday about Assassin's Creed Shadows disastering continue because Ubisoft pulled out of the Tokyo's game show and now canceled scheduled press previews, and we automatically assumed that we saw this and we thought, holy cow, this game really is a broken and buggy mess and they don't want anybody to see it before it comes out. Well, it turns out we now know the official reason, because Assassin's Creed Shadows has now been delayed and a bunch of refunds are going to be issued. They're teasing you with a little bit of something extra here as well for all of this kind of nonsense. But boys and girls, it is not looking very good. Ubisoft is in a bad spot financially right now, and they know they have to have some solid wins or they are going to be looking down the barrel of a hostile takeover sometime next year. And as of right now, they know this is a broken and buggy mess and it is not ready to go in any way, shape, or form. So we're going to check out this article. We're going to check out the official statement from Ubisoft as well concerning the game and what they're going to be offering people out there for right now for compensation for this kind of situation and for this delay. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing, and I could not do that without every single one of you. I think we're almost to like 400 subscribers right now over here on the gaming channel, getting closer and closer to that first stage of monetization. So if you haven't already, make sure you push that subscribe button down below and leave us a comment in the section letting us know what you think about all of this. Does it surprise you at all? Does this actually give you a little bit of hope? Maybe you'll at least get a halfway decent game out of this, even if it's strictly a total disastrous dumpster fire when it comes to the actual history of feudal Japan out there, or let us know what you think about that either way in the comment section down below. Plus, it helps the algorithm. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows disaster continues to unfold as Ubisoft pulls out of Tokyo game shows and cancels scheduled press previews. In the latest indicator that things are not going well for Assassin's Creed Shadows, Ubisoft has not only announced a last-minute cancellation to their plans to exhibit the highly controversial title at the upcoming Tokyo game show, but the developers also reportedly pulled the plug on the game's scheduled press previews. Dun dun dun. The recent storm of bad news for the action-adventure franchise's first Japan-based entry first made landfall on the morning of September 24th when the official Japan Assassin's Creed Shadows Twitter account shared an image announcing that they would no longer be participating in the aforementioned TGS. Regarding our online exhibit at the Tokyo Game Show 2024, scheduled to start at 3 p.m. on September 26th, we regret to inform you, due to various circumstances, we have decided to cancel our exhibit. The currently ongoing giveaway campaign, in which the developer is offering a 5,000 yen gift cards to 5 random fans to communicate the official release, will continue. We apologize for the short notice. We sincerely apologize to everyone who's looking forward to the release. Well, now we know why they wanted to do this, right? They already planned on canceling the game. They planned on pushing it back longer out there. And now we know why, because they saw what was coming down the pipeline, and this would just have been even more bad press for them when people showed off more of this glitchy and unfinished and unpolished gameplay. This is why they were doing this. And as if it wasn't bad enough for Ubisoft, just a few hours after the initial TGS announcement, Insider Gaming's Tom Henderson reported that per his various sources, the developer had canceled the entirety of Assassin's Creed Shadows' upcoming press previews. The Assassin's Creed Shadows press previews were scheduled to take place next week, explained Henderson of the canceled event, and the embargo date for the preview would have been announced then. At current, Ubisoft has yet to publicly provide any specific details regarding their reasoning behind their above cancellations. However, in light of absolutely abysmal state of Shadows gameplay, visual aesthetics, and overall presentation, many players have begun to speculate these recent moves are being done ahead in the service of an upcoming delay of the game's release date, which theoretically pushes it back from its currently planned November 15th debut. And now we know what's going on as well with all of that, ladies and gentlemen, because obviously we can go on to talk about all the controversy that's gone on as well, further compounding the Assassin's Creed Shadow related issues with all the rescheduling going on on, the game also found itself under its first due to recent reveal that planned Okalaka characters feature protagonist Yusuke No features their later leaping from a broken Japanese torii gate, which many consider to be in poor taste due to the nation's reverence for the one-legged torii gate in Nagasaki, which survived the initial atomic bomb blaster in World War II. It is seen as a national symbol of tragedy that took place due to the conflict. All in all, things look like they're being headed back to the drawing board. And that's what we officially have now, boys and girls, because this literally just came out like 20 minutes, like 3 minutes before the show actually goes live in the morning out here, 10:57 a.m., September 25th, 2024. And that's Central Standard Time for anybody out there. Assassin's Creed Shadows will now release February 14th, 2025. Now, what's really funny about this is if you don't live in the United States, you won't understand this, but February in the United States is Black History Month. For why they picked the shortest history of the month, there's a whole different thing to be right there. But they're literally going to release this game with their black fake protagonist in feudal Japan in Black History Month in America. Maybe that's an accident. Maybe it's not. I don't think so, but either way, that's funny as hell. So here's the official statement from them. And this is one of them situations where this is absolutely, I believe, in response to all the backlash that came out there of how much of this broken and buggy of a mess this game looked like in the beginning. Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us. Yeah, rewriting feudal Japan's history and forcing a black protagonist into somewhere he didn't belong and a role he doesn't exist, I'm sure was absolutely always your dream and always your intention. Finally bringing the series to feudal Japan, which many feature developed a community in mind, such as parkour, the renewed stealth brought by the new technology, all set in a beautiful and immersive world. This is an ambitious addition to the franchise, a rich experience that we lived through the eyes of two unique protagonists. But we realize we need more time to polish and refine the experiencing, push or furthering some of our key features. Yes, this game looked like trash, and we know why, because Ubisoft, like so many of these other companies, decided to concentrate on agenda-driven nonsense instead of actually making a good, functional, playable game that would release on their actual time frame. Clearly, they know they don't have that on their hands, and they don't want another disaster like Star Wars Outlaws, because even if you don't have a problem, even if you're one of the simps for the spirit of the age out there, there's no problem going out there with this female protagonist and all the rest of this nonsense, and essentially what should be a Han Solo story, you would still have to complain about all of the broken and buggy mess issues, just like you had with Star Wars Outlaws. You would have to report on it, just like IGN and all the rest of these companies did. They cannot afford another failure. They couldn't afford Star Wars Outlaws as a failure, but they're going to get it. They certainly can't afford that with Assassin's Creed Shadows. So this shows you once again their desperation as well, because they are begging. They know the pre-order sales are bad right now, and they are desperate to try to pull anybody in that might even be slightly interested in this game, because here's what they've done. As such, we've made the decision to postpone the release date to February 14th, 2025, Valentine's Day. The game will release on a broad range of platforms, including Steam at launch. Additionally, pre-orders will be refunded, and all future pre-orders will be granted the first expansion for free. Yes, the DLC that they normally try to nickel and dime you with, which very likely might have been part of the original game even to begin with out there. Yes, they're now going to give it to you for free. And you don't have to buy the special edition. You ain't got to buy the deluxe edition. No, just pre-order the game regularly. So please, after we give you your money back, please give it back to us, and we're going to give you something for free. They are desperate. They know that the pre-order sales are in the toilet right now because of all of the backlash they've gotten for this game and how buggy and broken it looks. So now they are doing everything they can to push this all the way back to Black History Month of all time and to literally try to fix what is already a broken, disastrous dumpster fire. We understand this decision will come as disappointing news. Not for us. That just means we have to roast you for even longer. Especially to those who have been patiently waiting for the Assassin's Creed game inspired by feudal Japan, but not actually based on it. Definitely just inspired, because trust me, it's not accurate to history in any way, shape, or form. But we sincerely believe this is the best interest of our game and our investors and our shareholders and all the people that are currently coming for our jobs, and ultimately your experience as a player. Please, we don't want you making fun of us all over again, just like you did with Outlaws. We understand, rest assured, we are looking forward to the moment you will embark on a memorable adventure with Naoya and Yasuki. Until then, we thank you for your ongoing support. Please buy our game. Please, we're offering you extra freebies out there. We knew this game was a broken and buggy disaster. This is simply Ubisoft admitting it. We saw what happened with Star Wars Outlaw and what a disastrous dumpster fire they turned that turned into. We already know that there are people coming for Ubisoft as a company. They want a hostile takeover. Star Wars Outlawed already gave them more ammunition for that, and Assassin's Creed Shadows was going to do the exact same thing. Because even if you don't mind the absolute destruction to feudal Japan's history and the culture that Japan respects so much and they love so much and they're so proud of, even if you don't have a problem with any of that, you still were going to complain about a broken and buggy game. You were going to see clips all over the internet of it, just like what we saw with Star Wars Outlaws, and that was another embarrassment that would only fuel the fire even more to the speculation of people trying to come for Ubisoft as a company. Trust me, it needs to be taken over. These woke psychopaths, this Sweet Baby Inc. involved company, because yes, remember, Ubisoft and Sweet Baby Inc. are really, really good friends as well. Yes, boys and girls, it needs to be cleaned house. It needs to be a purge, and these IPs need to be given to people that actually respect the world and respect the fans out there, because that is not what Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be in any way, shape, or form. And this is just an absolute admission from Ubisoft that they knew they had their next disastrous dumpster fire on their handle, and that's why they are pushing out to Black History Month of all days, of all months, boys and girls, for your now Black Samurai and an otherwise historically inaccurate feudal Japan. After all, Ubisoft, you're going to get exactly what you deserve.